Seduction has to have an element of danger to it. I'm being the evil seducer now here.
Seduction involves a sense of vulnerability.
The moment she pursues you in any way, it's over. You've seduced her. That's it. You're after her. It's like this, you're after her. And then you pull back. Now there's a space between you two. That space is where she's going to fall. Seduction involves, by nature, an element of transgressive and taboo. So the word itself has this kind of edge to it, where we're sort of attracted to it, but we're also a little bit afraid of it. It's like something, it could be very exciting, but there's also something a little bit evil about it, a little bit naughty. And if it didn't have those two elements, it wouldn't be this very powerful word that attracts us so much. So people who pretend that they want everything to be so comfortable and easy and perfect in their life. They want everything to be good, everything to be sweet and angelic. But people are complicated. They desire the opposite of what they say they think they want, right? So underneath every one of our desires is secretly something else, secretly something maybe the opposite that we want, but we're not aware of it. And so if everything in the seduction were so smooth and wonderful and pleasant, he's giving you chocolates and roses and wonderful, it doesn't have that edge to it. We want an edge to things in life, otherwise we're not interested in it. It gives it something, a little bit, a whiff of danger. It's something we haven't talked about. But seduction has to have an element of danger to it. It has to be like being involved with this person. It's not like my life is at stake, but something potentially bad could happen, or there's an adventure involved that I'm not used to, where I could lose something that I value. And that element of danger is actually a spice in our life. So my view of people today is that we're too tight. We're too like this. We're too political. We're too like holding on to things we want. We're like, I call it the new prudery in the art of seduction. This is the new prudery, is our political correctness. Everything has to be this way. I'm so moral and righteous. This is what's right and that's what's wrong. And secretly, underneath it all, we actually yearn for the opposite, because it's not natural for us to be so tight and wound up. The human being wants to loosen up. We want to laugh. We want to do the opposite of what's going on in society. We want things that are unconventional. We want things that are mysterious. We want things that are weird and strange. We don't want our lives to be so tight and controlled like everything is on the media, where you say one wrong thing and 8 million people are after you, right? So an element of political incorrectness, of taboo, of something I'm not supposed to be interested in that person, but I am. How exciting. I think is a very, very important part of a seduction, because people are wound up way too tight these days, and they need a release, and they need that release is something that they would never normally do. Well, now we're entering the last stages of the seduction, where you've been messing with the person psychologically. They've kind of had a back and forth dynamic with you where they're very excited, they're intrigued, but then they're pulling back because the things you've done that they're not sure about. And it's like a piece of metal that's getting weaker and weaker and weaker by all the bending back and forth, and they're on the verge of breaking. And so injecting a little bit of pain at the end of this, towards this moment in the seduction, like, I'm gonna leave you, it's over, I'm done with you. Man, that'll be very, very powerful, because there's been so much pleasure, so much excitement, so much interest involved, that at that moment that you're gonna pull back, or that you do something kind of heartless, is gonna have a devastating effect on the other person. So I'm being the evil seducer now here, but giving that back and forth dynamic where you're leading them along, where it's very fun, it's pleasurable, exciting, but there are moments of doubt and pain, really is what hooks the other person and gets them completely in your grasp. So if everything is pleasurable, it's not going to have the emotional impact. And if you put in, particularly near the end, these little doses of pain. To me, I don't know if this is going to sound too weird, but an orgasm is a kind of mix of that. An orgasm is so pleasurable it almost hurts.
Right.
In French, they call it le petit mort, the little death. There's almost a sense of, it's too much, it's almost like I'm having a heart attack, but it's so fucking pleasurable, right? And so in the orgasm itself, which is the end goal perhaps in a seduction, this is kind of like a little mini orgasm where there's both that sense of this is so much fun, but it's also kind of a bit unpleasant. If you're pursuing someone so much, it's almost like it's getting too predictable here. Mm-hmm. And the sense of being constantly chased and the sense of being pursued is tiring. It's also a little bit frightening. And it's also like, where is this all ending? Right? It's going too much like you're in control of everything. If you take a step back, you're the one pursuing her, and now you step back and you don't call her as much, and you're doing your work and you're not so interested in her, suddenly she's going to have to pursue you because you've got your hooks in her so deeply. And the moment you've created this space, because think of it spatially, you're after her, it's like this, you're after her, and then you pull back. Now there's a space between you two. That space is where she's going to fall. And that's what I mean by it. So you've pulled back, and now she's going to pursue you because she doesn't want to lose it. It's been so interesting and so pleasurable. And she's so used to this dynamic that she's now going to turn around. The moment she pursues you in any way, it's over. You've seduced her. That's it. So it's got to be timed right. We're very near the end of our seduction here, because that literally means to fall, and we're like falling in love. So this is a book about getting people to love you. It's not a book about just having sex. It's all psychological. And literally falling in love is you can't control it, you're falling. So you're giving them space for them to fall, because if you're pursuing them, they're just backing up, but you want them to go like that.
Seduction involves the desire to lose control. And men share this as well, which is why men are often attracted to women who are slightly dangerous, women who are either a little bit crazy, or women who have this incredible sexual energy that can almost dominate a man. So seduction involves crossing up closely to that border of something that's dangerous, where you might be overwhelmed, particularly in our world today, where things are getting more and more Puritan and people are more constrained by political correctness and all these tenets that we're supposed to adhere to, that we lead rather dull, constricted lives. We're not playful enough. Things are too ordered and conventional and regimented in our world. But secretly, we want to get out of that. Secretly, we are drawn to what is dangerous, to what we can't really control. Seduction is a sense of, I'm letting go a little bit. I'm entering a world where the other person is leading me through an adventure, and that's the excitement. That's the kind of transgressive element. A dangerous person is always going to have that. What's a little bit tricky here is you have to think that each woman has their own separate fantasy. So first of all, it's a particular type of woman that's reading romantic fiction. Not all women are reading that kind of thing. But each person that you deal with has their own particular fantasies, right? And you want to be very sensitive to that. So if you come at this with this idea that women have these preset kind of ideals, then you're already in trouble, because you want, as far as being you-oriented, you want to drop everything and you want to enter their world and look at the signs that they're giving out as to what their fantasies are. If they happen to be reading that kind of fiction and they happen to be reading those kinds of stories, then great, a little red light goes on in your head. But you want to be looking at all the other signs that they're giving out as well, the movies that they watch, the music that they listen to, the clothes that they wear. If a woman seems to be particularly repressed, that's a sign that they're going to be attracted to that danger element, right? So you want to be paying deep attention to the individual. This is a problem that men have in general that they need to address. They're thinking in generic terms. They're thinking that they don't individualize the woman. And the worst thing you can do in seduction is to give the other person the idea that you are coming at them and thinking of somebody else. You're thinking in terms of stereotypes. You're thinking in terms of your previous girlfriends. You're not looking at them as an individual, the kinds of things that they love, the kinds of things that you can provide them that they're missing in life. So the game is the most important game, as opposed to just thinking in terms of these categories, is dropping all of that stuff in your head and just looking at the woman and entering her world and seeing it for what it is. That's half the game of seduction. Because if they feel that you are individualizing your attention, that is absolutely the key to any kind of seduction, because we don't get any kind of individualized attention in this world. We're hungry for it, and particularly women coming from men, because men don't seem to understand the fantasy element. A fantasy is kind of a story. It's like a drama. It's going, and so when you're seducing someone, it's a story that you're bringing them into. You're creating theater. You're creating drama. You're leading them into this world just like an author will lead a reader through a series of steps. But you have to be very focused on them and who they are in particular. And seduction involves a sense of vulnerability, a sense of openness, where you're letting the other person come into you. And the word vulnerable comes from the Latin meaning wound. So vulnerable means the willingness to be wounded, right? And the archetypal image of love and seduction was Cupid with an arrow and hitting you with an arrow and wounding you with love and creating blood from it. It's like there's pain involved because you're opening yourself to another person. You're willing for them to hurt you, and you know that you could be hurt. And so people secretly want to be vulnerable. They're just afraid. And so it's, I think, very psychologically important for people today, particularly for young people, to be willing to be vulnerable and to experience what that's like, to experience letting go of your defenses. If you're hurt, how do you deal with that? Because inevitably you're going to be hurt. That builds life skills, that builds toughness, that builds a kind of thickness in you where you can endure being hurt, because life involves in all sorts of hurts, and you're able to function with it and actually invite it in. It's almost good sometimes to invite a little bit of pain in your life. When you want to get physically well and you want to exercise, you realize that getting well involves pain, it involves repetitions, it involves running so far that it hurts a little bit, right? So you want to be able to welcome a little bit of that pain. So I think where we are in our culture right now, seduction is incredibly important. People have their own kind of context, their family, their friends, their workplace. And sometimes if you can isolate them from that context, they become much more vulnerable to you, right? They don't have any friends, they don't have any support anymore, so they only can rely on you. And it's something that is done over time. And so one of the tactics that I talk about in the book is taking the person to another country, to another place, where they, even on a holiday or a vacation, where they feel unsupported, where they feel a little bit alone and isolated for several weeks, kind of break down that element and make them want to turn to you for trust and support. Let's say you're a religious person, right? And you believe very strongly and your belief in God is something very important to you. And they start kind of chipping away at that about, that's so irrational. How can you in the 21st century believe that somebody changed water into wine and walked on water? How ridiculous. And they're being more subtle than that. But they're slowly chipping away at a very important value that you have, which is your faith in God. That's one of the strategies about insinuation. You insinuate doubts into the other person. More than ever, that word seduction has like an element of, ew, I don't like that. I don't want to be seduced. Oh, what an ugly book. Oh, Robert's really evil. But secretly, people are yearning to be seduced.